Hi everybody, this is Julie Sikora from Contemplative Knitting and welcome to episode 7. Thank you all for subscribing and watching this knitting channel. Very excited that you have discovered this little small corner of the knitting world. So welcome to new people. I live on Lake Ontario and I'm on the second floor, so you can see the tree out the back. The light's just not good enough to show the lake, but at some point maybe I can make another video. Anyway, welcome back to all of you who have watched before. This is my rocket tee, so let me just get right into the knitting. I finished it about a week ago. I love it. Doesn't every knitter say that when they get something done? But the reason I love it is because it fits, it's comfortable, it's nice. I'm not really good at V-necks. I've tried V-necks before, but this pattern uses an I-cord bind off for the V-neck and for the sleeves and at the bottom. So it makes a super nice edge and it draws it in. And whenever I've bound off V-necks in the past, I kind of get like a hole right here and it just looks sloppy. But I think this looks very professional. So let me show you a little bit more of it. It's beautiful. It fits really nicely. There was a sleeve, or not a sleeve, a side seam detail. But I wanted this for my TV knitting, so I just chose to go around and around and around, and it did take a long time. I mean, this is fingering weight yarn. This is the yarn that I bought in San Antonio, Texas, and it is by Euphoria Knits, and it is in the orange color, which I finished the bottom and the top on. It is called Pyromania. It's 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon, and it's sock. And then this lovely color variation here is called Rum Runner, also 85% superwash merino and 15% nylon, sock 4-ply. So just to give you a better sense of, it's hard to get the colors, but this is the swatch that I did. And I ended up with this much left of the color and this much left of the orange. So it was kind of a very cool 2-skein project. It used up both skeins essentially, and the Rocket Tee is a great pattern. I think I bought it maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Everybody in Rochester was doing the Rocket Tee. Our local yarn store, I think, was having a knit along and people were raving about it. The interesting thing about the pattern is that it is striped, and so they do one in like a fingering and then the stripe is in a mohair, and that's how the pattern goes. So I just chose to do it both in the fingering, but I do love the looks of part of it in a fingering and part of it in a mohair. It kind of creates sort of a translucent look on the mohair parts of the stripes. So but it's a great pattern. It was interesting. They wanted you to do 15 inches from the underarm, so it was perfect for me. It's not cropped. It hits me kind of where I want. It's got a nice length to wear with a skirt. I do have a red skirt, which I did wear it with, and it's super nice. It's got the raglan sleeves. And the other cool thing is you don't have to knit on the sleeves. Like once you divide for the sleeves are done with the exception of doing the I-cord bind off. So you don't have to pick up for the sleeves, you pick up for the I-cord bind off. I'm starting to love the look of the I-cord bind off. And it's funny because both of the sweaters that I've been working on lately are using that I-cord bind off. So I think it really looks nice. So having done this striped t-shirt summer kind of wear, I thought I would talk about 2 other summer knits that I've finished in the past. And one of them is the Shaker Rag Top by Amy Christophers. I hope I'm saying her name right. Anyway, it was done by Modern Daily Knitting in one of their books. The book is called Translucent, and I saw it. I saw it on Facebook or Instagram or something. I saw the pattern and I was instantly taken by it. So I bought the pattern for the Shaker Rag top, and I looked at the yarn that they recommended, and it was Sylph by Jade Sapphire. And what that yarn is, it's 58% cashmere, 42% linen, and I looked at it, it was very expensive. So I thought, oh, I don't want to spend that much money on buying this yarn. So I tried a substitute yarn. Oh, it was horrifying, because what that pattern does, the Shaker Rag top, is you do like 6 rows or 10 rows, I don't remember, of the fingering yarn, and then held double, and then you do the next set of rows with just one strand of yarn, and that kind of makes it translucent on those rows that you only use one strand of yarn. And it looked super cool. I mean, it wasn't transparent, but it was translucent. You could definitely see when you held it up. So I'm the kind of person that when I see the pattern, I tend to fall in love with the same color. I want to make identically what I see, and that was true in this case. So I tried it with this other yarn, and it was just a miserable fail. I actually ended up giving that other yarn away. So then I sprung for the Sylph from Jade Sapphire, and in the color Puff, which I think is what they might have made the pattern in the Translucent Modern Daily Knitting magazine from that color. And I remember it got delivered to the house. You open it up, it's in this beautiful nylon bag with the ribbon closure. It's like you're getting this very precious, precious gift, which it is, because it's cashmere and linen. And it's such a combination of animal and plant. I mean, cashmere and linen. It's just a wonderful marriage between animal and plants. So I did make it, and I've worn it a lot. This is it. And you can sort of, I mean, it's a double layer. But you can see the stripes of where it's held double and where it's held single. I think if I had one layer, it would be more obvious. So let me just try and hold up just one layer of it. See if I can get it right side out and hold up one layer. It's just, you can, there it is. See the darker and the lighter? You can see it there. It's just really pretty. It's a great layering piece. I mean, I love the puff. It's just sort of a white piece. It can go over everything. You can wear it with jeans by itself. You can wear it over a dress, and it is soft and it drapes, and it's got that translucent thing. I'm very careful when I take it on and off because I don't want to get makeup on the ends, but I did make it a while ago. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I probably would make a little bit smaller size now. It's kind of boxy on me, but again, it's been a great layering piece, and it worked out really well. I don't like to make patterns more than once because there's so many patterns out there. But the Rocket Tee, if I ever want another V-neck t-shirt, I would do it. I probably would do it with the mohair instead of the 2 fingerings, because I think it's got a very, very cool look. And I think the pattern shows it with the woman wearing it over jeans, and it's a great pattern. So if you're looking for a V-neck tee, sorry about that. Someone told me I needed to shut off my alerts and put my phone on airplane mode. So I'm going to do that so that my texting stuff doesn't annoy us, all of us. So my kids, I've got kids here and grandkids here. They are currently off at the amusement park, and I'm praying that they don't show up while I'm doing this, because we've got kids and grandkids here through the rest of the summer. This is like a moment in time where my husband and I are in the house by ourselves, which isn't going to last forever. Anyway, back to the knitting segment. So if you want a V-neck tee, the rocket tee is the way to go. If you want to buy some luxury yarn and do a beautiful summer tee, that's a great layering piece. Then the shaker rag top, you can't beat that. And I did get the color puff, but Jade Sapphire makes silk in many sylph. It's SYLPH. SYLPH. They make that cashmere linen in a lot of different colors, and it's just scrumptious. So if you want a treat, that's what I would do. So the other t-shirt I kind of want to talk about is the Tegna, I hope I'm saying that right, by Caitlin Hunter. And this was my first pattern by Caitlin Hunter. I think her patterns are just gorgeous. And I've bought some of her other patterns and they're in the queue. I think I have yarn for a couple projects. So this is the first one I made. And I used Wildflower, the color Wildflower by Lichen and Lace. It's their 80/20 sock. So I saw the yarn first and it was skeined and it was kind of got green and then it kind of went up into pinky purple, kind of like if you were looking at grass with a beautiful pinky purple flower kind of above it. And I was like, oh, just unbelievably beautiful color. So I think in my head I was thinking fade, when in actuality the yarn is like a multicolored yarn. So I picked it and I started knitting, and on the Tegna you go from the bottom up and it's lace and then it's kind of like this plain t-shirt. And I realized like halfway in that the yarn, because of the way the colors were not complementing the pattern. But I finished it anyway. It fits beautifully. I mean, you can see it on my project page on Ravelry, which my Ravelry name is Julie Sikora, Juliecicora. It fits well, and the pattern is gorgeous, but I don't think the yarn complements the pattern. So, but I did start, so I kind of put it away in my drawer, so I was a little disappointed, but I've taken it out and I've started wearing it again. It's got a roll top, kind of, and then it's got this beautiful lace on the bottom. So I think it's just a beautiful pattern that I think if I had done it in a tonal, it would have looked much better. And you know, there's some pooling. Again, I wasn't thinking, see the pooling, but you know, it's beautiful. The pattern's beautiful. I think I did a good job knitting it, picking up the stitches, all of that. The lace took a while, but oh my gosh, see the scalloped edges? It blocked out beautifully. You do see the lace. So, again, as I said, I don't like to knit things twice, but this is so pretty. So maybe at some point in time I will knit this again, because it's just gorgeous. And it does fit. So these are kind of like my 3 favorite tops. I've forgiven myself on the color thing. I do love the colors. I definitely chose it because when it was skeined up, it was just had these gorgeous colors that I just loved. But I was thinking of a fade. So I've learned a lot about color choices. That's why when I got this crazy color, I knew, like, if you stripe, you're not going to get that pooling, you know. And I do like this. I probably would have liked it without some of the green. I think I would have liked maybe just the pink and the yellow and the orange. But again, this is not I'm a knitter, not a color person. So I think I like the way this came out. I think it's definitely way out of my comfort zone in terms of color. As you can see, I do the white, I do a lot of navy. So that's kind of my 3 t-shirt kind of summer knits that I wanted to show you. Now, my work in progress. I've been pretty monogamous. I had to be very monogamous to get this thing done. I mean, fingering, I forget what size needle I did. Whatever, I got gauge with the pattern. I think it's a size 5. So I was knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting to get this thing done because it's, you know, a lot of knitting, 15 inches, plain, stock knit, you know, just knitting in the round. So my work in progress is that Phantom Fuzz, which with the Debbie Bliss Angel, which is the Super Kid Mohair and Silk. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get this thing done. This is like holding a cloud. So I think when I showed you the last time, I had gotten the back done. I was working my way up the front. So this is where it's at. I've got the neck done. So it's an I-cord cast on, and you start at the bottom, and you go up and you knit the back, and then you knit like the 2 sides of the front. And I've actually done the I-cord bind off around the V-neck. So again, I didn't choose I-cord bind offs around the V-necks to do it, but both of these patterns happen to do it. Then you pick up and start knitting the sleeve, and there will be, of course, an I-cord bind off at the end of the sleeve. Now the sleeve, so I'm making the small, not the extra small, and I can tell it's going to fit perfectly. The sleeve is supposed to be 19 inches, and I think I'm at 13. So if I put it right on my shoulder, it doesn't go totally to the cuff, but this sleeve is longer than just even down to your wrist. I mean, it kind of goes long because I'm looking at this as a cover up, or just a very light summer sweater when the wind starts up in the evening and maybe it goes to 65 or 70 and you like a little chill, or you're in air conditioning. So I've got this, obviously got to pick up for this sleeve and knit that. So I'm almost done with one of the sleeves. I started the sleeve with, so I think it's done on a 10.5 or a 10. I started the sleeves with double pointed needles. No, not a good idea. First of all, they're heavy when you do a 10.5 or 10. So I've got the these white plastic needles, and it was awful. I'm making a hole in the fabric. I mean, where the needles come, where you're joining your double pointed, it was, so here's the double pointed needle I was trying to use. So they're thick, they're heavy. It was a nightmare. So I looked around for short enough circular needles to do the sleeve, and I didn't have anything in a 10 or a 10.5. But I did find these size 9 needles, and the sleeve fits perfectly on the size 9 needles. And the fabric, it's a little, maybe just a tiny bit denser. I mean, I don't even think you can tell. Tiny bit denser than the body. But I'm hauling around. I forgot to put a beginning of round marker because I went from the double pointed to this. But it's going to be fine. And hopefully the next time I will show you this, I will be done with this Phantom Fuzz, which I'm so excited about it. I love the cast on. I think, the I-cord cast on, I haven't woven in the ends or put this together, but blocked it. But the I-cord cast on and the I-cord around the V-neck and the sleeves will kind of weight it down. It's just going to be, it's gorgeous. My granddaughter put this on her wrist and said, "Oh, look, Grandma, this beautiful bracelet. Take it off your wrist." Okay, so that's like my big work in progress. Now, I still have not done anything on this. I showed this the last time. I've got this work in progress of the Debbie Bliss. It's Debbie Bliss pattern, and it's a cardigan in the same kind of yarn. And I showed this last time. I had the back done. I've done nothing. Here it is. And I know it's 3 skeins to do this Phantom Fuzz, and I'm thinking, do I want this cardigan or do I want to do another Phantom Fuzz in this gorgeous color? So, I don't know. I'm still debating that. I mean, I've got the back done and I'm working on one of the fronts, but when I showed you the last time, I noticed a problem in this, and it's not as holy. I don't know. I've got it. Ah! I just caught it on my ring. It's fine. I got to think about it. That's the other thing. I know I'm not going to be wearing that white Phantom Fuzz when some of my grand dogs come around, because they jump on that thing, it's over. So that's the only problem there. So I'm trying to plan my next move. So I went to New Hampshire because my mom's husband, so my dad died in 2011. My mom was obviously a widow, and then she discovered a man who she worked with in her past, and his wife had died. So they got married 4 years ago when they were 86. So now they're both 90 on their second marriage, 4 years, and he had a stroke. And so they live in New Hampshire half the year. So I ran over to New Hampshire from Rochester, New York. And he happened to be in rehab, and he's back home in Concord. And I had been to a great yarn store in Concord a long time ago called, it's called the Elegant U, E-W-E, like the sheep, the Elegant U. And so I went back there. It was in a different location, I think, but it's an amazing yarn store. I mean, unbelievably wonderful. They do not ship, so you have to go there. But if you go to New Hampshire and you're in Concord, it is well worth the trip. So you're going to get there, you're going to Google it, you go there, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, that Julie Sikora of Contemplative Knitting is a crazy woman, because it's in a very small little strip mall, looks like nothing from the outside. But when you go in, the yarn selection is way beyond the average yarn selection at a yarn store. They have Marie Wallen British breeds. They have a whole bunch of Lopi. If you're, and I'm a big Lopi fan. I did a Lopi episode that has the least amount of views. So I don't know, maybe people don't like Lopi, but you knit a Lopi sweater, you can get that done pretty quickly because it's done on fairly large size needles. It's fun to do color work with it, and she has, oh my gosh, all these different colors. So I did have my 90-year-old mother with me, so I didn't have a lot of time to browse, which was very unfortunate. But I had it in my head that I wanted to do a love note, because my 90-year-old mother just completed a love note where she had fingering yarn and mohair for my niece. She made a love note sweater. Now everyone, I mean, I don't know how many people have made the love note, and I haven't made one, so I thought I really want to do a love note. But what I wanted to do was a linen one as kind of a fall cover-up, and so I bought this linen yarn, which is I thought was DK weight. So I can be very boring in terms of my color choice, but it's called White Pepper. And it looks to me a little beigey, and it's 60% cotton, 40% linen. It's Juniper Moon Farm Zoe, and it's a soft cotton linen blend. I thought, oh, this is perfect, right? So it suggested knitting range when I got, so I think somebody told me it was DK. Maybe I just wanted it to be DK. I don't know. But on the label, it says 20 to 24 stitches over stockinette stitch on US 3 to 5. Of course, the love note, I think it's 10 and a half. so I swatched it, and the gauge, you're supposed to get 16 stitches and 24 rows for the 4-inch square. So the only way I got that was on size 7 needles, and it seemed super loose. And then I thought, I don't know, it just seems crazy. So then, like a crazy woman, I went in my stash and I found this, and this is a flax, which is not soft. It's flax, natural fine hand knitting yarn. It is 100% linen, and it's a number 3 light. So 24 stitches, 28 rows on size 5. So I decided, crazy person that I am, to try it together. So I started a swatch. I got this far. I'm like, okay, no, this is not happening. It was a weird idea. I'm not sure what I was thinking. Oh, here's my swatch on the number 7 needles. I mean, yeah, but I mean, number 7 when the pattern, ugh, maybe I do just want to do it. I don't know. You think that's too flimsy? It would be very drapey. Wouldn't be, I don't know. I have a lot of I don't knows this time. I'm not sure if I want to really make that sweater or I love the Phantom Fuzz, man. So this entire time I've obviously been in denial about wanting to knit patterns twice, but I would definitely knit the Phantom Fuzz again. I mean, it's fun to knit. The body went like this. The sleeves somehow are not going as fast. I don't know why. Maybe because they're on the 9, but it's slowing me down. But this would make, I mean, it's soft and very drapey. Is the love note, I mean, it's got that lace in it. Is that, so what I did was I got on Ravelry and I looked up what are people making with the Juniper Moon Zoe soft cotton linen blend, and there were like, I don't know, over 500 projects with that particular yarn. And I started going through, and of course they're making the ranunculus. So I've made a ranunculus. I forget which episode it's in, but I made a ranunculus and I loved it. I love it. It's another favorite summer wear layering piece. And I could make a ranunculus, but then I remember the ranunculus is on a size 10 needle, and I don't think I can get gauge. So I'm obviously very confused this episode. So I've got a lot of stuff to think about. But one thing I'm not confused about, the Elegant EWE in Concord, New Hampshire is well worth a visit. I mean, it's just an amazing store. So I did talk to the owner, who is relatively new, but the woman who owned it for 20 years or whatever does trips. So I think if you Google Elegant EWE travel, you can find some of her trips. Like, she takes people on these wonderful fiber trucks. So she goes to foreign countries and you get to go yarn shopping, and it's all about the yarn. So anyway, yeah, now that I'm looking at this Juniper Moon Farm Zoe label, it says fine. It's a number 2. So I don't know what I was thinking when I was thinking DK. So I might have to combine it with something. Maybe silk, huh? All right, I got a lot to think about. So I'm lucky the grandkids have not come back. And the month of August, we're going on an RV trip with the grandkids the first weekend. And then one of my sons sold everything, his house, all of his stuff, and he and his wife and 5-year-old daughter and 2 dogs have been living in a 22-foot trailer traveling around the U.S., and they're coming here for the month of August. So stick with us. And then we're off to Italy to climb the Dolomites. So I'm training for that hiking trip. It's a 7-day hike through the Dolomites. We're staying at huts. So I'm wondering if I should take a pair of socks to do some extreme knitting, as I've seen on Fruity Knitting. But I should be able to get something done, and maybe I'll have figured out all my dilemmas, whether to do another Phantom Fuzz, what to do with this. Maybe I will do the love note and just use size 7 needles. So anyway, we'll see. Hopefully I'll have something to show you at the end of August before we head out to hike the Dolomites. So until then, enjoy your knitting. Thanks for listening. I recommend all of these patterns. The Shaker Rag Top, Caitlin Hunter's Tegna, the Rocket Tee, the Phantom Fuzz, which should be done and I should be wearing it hopefully when I see you in August. Until then, have a great time and enjoy your summer. Thanks. Thanks for coming.